Hi, we are making Taiwanese chicken today. It's pretty much just popcorn chicken, fried chicken, except with a Chinese twist. We're going to be marinating the chicken with soy sauce, salt and pepper, tapioca powder, and we're going to have garlic and ginger. These are all tenderloins, so I like using tenderloins instead of chicken breast because obviously it's less work. Honestly, all you have to do is group them up together and you make little small cuts. Small cuts enough where it's pretty much bite-sized, and that way you have it really nice, neat, and clean, and you don't have to really worry about anything else. So the thing about this Taiwanese chicken, it's actually a street dish. It's like street vendors usually sell them in night market chickens in night markets, and they sell it as night market chickens, and usually just walk around with them. So it's actually more convenient if you make them into bite size, because they have these little skewers that you poke them in the chicken so you can eat them as you walk and chop pretty much. That's what all Taiwanese people do, really. But honestly, that's all you do. Cut them up into a little bite size, and then once you get that started, you can start marinating them. Okay. So after I cut the chicken, I pretty much cleaned the knife, and I switched out the cutting board so nothing gets contaminated. And right now I'm just cutting ginger, and I'm just cutting them in little sizes so I could mince them better after I slice and dice them right now. And you don't need that much, honestly, unless you really like the ginger taste. Me personally, I like the ginger taste, so this is actually quite a bit. You can adjust it to how much you like it, but honestly, you just mince them up, and then you can start tossing them in the bowl with soy sauce, salt and pepper, and start seasoning them and pretty much just start marinating them. And usually once you start marinating them, you want to marinate them for at least 20 minutes so everything soaks in and it gets tenderized and the flavor actually seeps into the chicken. So I honestly, I think ginger and garlic is the best thing for everything. You can honestly use ginger and garlic for every Chinese dish ever, honestly. So we have it minced up, and this seems like a lot, but it's just a way to get all the flavor in the chicken, especially in such a short amount of time, because we're going to fry them after we marinate them for 20 minutes. So do that, add them in, get all these extra chunks. And we're going to do the same thing with garlic. So I already have some cloves here. Honestly, 5 cloves is enough. You can have more if you want, if you like the garlic taste. But again, that's just personal preference. Me personally, this is just enough for me. Sometimes and they don't have to be like very, very fine. You don't really need that. As long as they're pretty much minced and around the same size, you're fine. You don't need to go overboard in cutting them. I think this is the perfect amount. And once again, we add that in there. And after we get that, we can pretty much start adding the sauces and the spices in there so we can start marinating. I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. So the soy sauce for about this much chicken, I usually don't measure it because my mom never taught me to measure it. I just kind of eye everything. A lot of times I've noticed that about 1/4 cup, maybe even less than that, is enough to bring out the flavor and marinate it. I'm just gonna eye it. Honestly, you just want it so that it covers all the chicken. That's all you want. And once you get that, you can add a little bit of tapioca powder. And this is just starch. It just tenderizes the chicken, makes it a little bit more flavorful, a little bit more soft and a little bit more flavorful. So you can pretty much have the full impact of all the marinade. And once you have that, add a little bit of salt and pepper, and a little bit of white pepper, and you can mix them up. Pretty much just make sure everything's even, everything's marinated very nicely. Everything gets a little bit of everything, and the chicken should be marinated again for about 20 minutes. If you can do it a little bit longer, that's fine as well. I wouldn't marinate them for too long, not like a day or two. Honestly, you can marinate it overnight, and that should be fine. And then you can fry it the next day if you have company, if you have a party. This is actually a really good snack to have. So we're gonna put plastic wrap over it, and then we're gonna put it in the fridge. Boom. Okay, so it's been 20 minutes, so I took it out of the refrigerator and it's nice and marinated. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna coat the chicken again with the tapioca starch. This tapioca starch you can get in any Chinese supermarket or Korean supermarket. It's just everywhere. But you can also use cornstarch. You can use flour, but I don't really personally like that. I think this matches with the chicken a little bit better. So let's get started. We're just gonna start coating it. And what I have done is I put oil in a separate pretty much frying pan. This is just a portable frying pan, and I set it at about 300 degrees Celsius. For like a normal stovetop, you could pretty much just set it at medium and let it fry slowly, and I think that'd be actually very, very good, and it makes it very crispy at the end. So like I was saying, you just pretty much just cook this, and you want to get it very, very even, and then just put it aside until the fryer gets hot enough where you can start putting it in one by one. Now the frying pan is pretty much hot enough, and you just kind of feel it, see if it's good to go, and you just let it simmer. And it'll get hotter as we go, but I just think it's good enough now, so we can put it in and let it pretty much cook by itself. And you should actually see like a little sizzling, because that means that it's working and it's hot enough. If it's not, then I would stop putting as much in. But right now I think it's hot enough where it'll cook thoroughly and come out with a nice crispy texture. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let it cook for about 3 minutes, and 3 minutes actually passed. And what you want to do after that is you want to flip it, and you should see that it should start to have a nice little golden coat. We're actually gonna do this twice, so it has that really, really nice texture that we're looking for, like very, very crispy. So it's cooked all the way through, and everything is exactly how we want it. What I've seen is about 2-3 minutes per flip, and then you flip it again. So pretty much you have a total process of 12-15 minutes. Everything should be cooked and everything should be crispy. And then once this batch is done, we'll put it on a plate with paper towels so it can soak up some of the oil, and it'll actually just make it crispier, and you can let it sit there without having it be soggy, pretty much. And then after that we can add the second batch in, and then just continue this process until everything's cooked. So you actually wanted it to be frying at a higher temperature. So if you could put it in and immediately have it bubble up like this, it will actually be the best, because when you have it at a higher heat, you have it solidified more as a crispy chicken, and that's honestly what we're trying to do to make it as crispy as possible. Flip it one more time, and as you can see, there should be a nice little golden coat on at least some of them, like that one. Yep, that's exactly what we're looking for, and that's honestly how you can really define that it's pretty much done and ready, is that it has that nice little tint to it. So that's exactly what we're looking for, and you can actually feel that it's starting to get a little bit more crispy. You can actually feel that it's a little bit hard on the outside, and that's probably the best way to determine that it's ready to get taken out of the frying pan. So this looks ready just because of the golden coat, and you can see that there's not a lot of white or lighter spots like there was when we first put them in here. So they're ready to come out of the deep fryer, and we're going to put them on paper towels pretty much to soak up the oil so it doesn't become soggy and it stays crispy for a long time. And I know we said before that we could, in Taiwan you usually eat it when you're walking, when you're in the night market, but you can also eat it with rice. You can honestly you can also put some soy sauce on there, but honestly it's good enough, it's delicious enough where you don't have to do that. And we'll have Steven try it out for you guys.
It's really good.
Good?
Yeah.
Good, okay.
You can really taste the pepper inside. And I did see that you put a lot of pepper on it, but it's not like too much that it overpowers.
Good, I'm glad. Usually what you want to do is you want to pair this with vegetable, and that's just having a really balanced diet. We're not doing that today because I'm lazy. But this is a great way to eat your meal. It's just something new. It's fried chicken. Fried chicken is something old, but it's also something new because not a lot of people make it like this. So
how long does it usually take to make this?
Oh, it's about 20 minutes to prep. You saw me, and it's about 20 minutes to cook, depending on how much you're making. It could be 20, it could be 40 minutes. So really, it's up to you, and also depends on how fast you are. Like, I know I'm not that fast at mincing, but that's really all you need to prep. That's it. So try it out, and please like and subscribe, and comment below, and we'll see you next time at Cooking with Kevin.